And from the Spectrum, welcome once again to Eagle League Box Lacrosse. Larry Rosen with Tony Seaman for tonight's action. Philadelphia Wings versus the Baltimore Thunder. The Thunder has won just one game this season. They lost to New Jersey 13-10, the league champion New Jersey Saints, before 7,500 people down at Baltimore Arena in their last outing, but they did lead 10-8 in the fourth period, so Baltimore can indeed play with the big boys. Philadelphia has won back-to-back home contests, looking for 3 in a row. Tony, are we about to see, as we look at the goaltenders, Buzz Shane, the general manager, with a 14.08 goals against average, third in the league, whereas for Philadelphia, Kevin Bilger at 13.48 is second in the league in goaltending behind Vinny Fife from New Jersey. Are we beginning to see cohesive units forming on the floor after several games together?
Yes, I think that's definitely true. I think the French line, certainly with the two brothers playing with each other. We're seeing Ciccarone and Tucker playing together, and you start to look for people, you know where they're going to be without having to, spend the extra second or two that the ball's going to get checked away or you're going to get that extra hit. You know where people are, and that's really important.
Just about to get underway. It will be the blue line for the Thunder as we look at the scratches. 3 players not playing, 2 with injury, 1 with coach's decision. Rather, for the Wings, an awful lot of scratches, which has forced Dave Huntley into the starting lineup tonight. And we'll tell you about those injuries as the night moves along. But first, we are underway, and the opening minutes are usually quite intense in one of these as the two teams feel themselves out. Moving to our left, that's the Baltimore Thunder in gold. As Bilger makes the first save. Rebound. Bilger has to beat Chris O'Brien off the left arm very quickly, and from behind, a slipping Thunder can only throw it back out front. And from the point, that'll be Chuck Moir, who will fire low and almost beat him on the left post, but Bilger comes up with it. And he did have a cherry picker in the person of Mike French, but opted not to use them.
3 big saves by Kevin Bilger. Start you off, get your blood flowing, get you into the game. So important for a goalkeeper.
Philadelphia connection, French to French. And Mike is beaten by Buzz. Going to call Buzz Shane Buzz all night long. I love that. Buzz, a big-time national goaltender, also played a lot of pro hockey. And we'll touch on that, including at the Civic Center with the Philadelphia Firebirds back in the mid-70s. And we'll talk about Buzz as the opportunity presents itself. Short shifts thus far to get everybody's legs in the game. That's Pat Hanley, who can't do much work. Gets a pick from Scott Growney. Shot clock under 10, 45-second clock. Scott's got to make a move. Oh, and the left-handed shot from Hanley is wide. But the clock did recirculate. As Baltimore in clear possession will change lines. That's Darky 1, Jim Darkangelo, number 20, out of Towson State University, one of the best shooters in the history of lacrosse. Will work the top by himself. Switches hands and throws it sidearm into the midsection of Bilger.
We see the Baltimore Thunder very, very quickly getting back on defense. They're keeping 2 guys outside the box. As soon as they take a shot, they're breaking down. They don't want to allow the Wings the fast break that has really helped the Wings win 2 games in a row now.
That's the captain, John Tucker, left wing, has a man in front. The shot is taken and save off Manley. Rebound to Tucker. And he shoots it wide to the left post. The rebound in front is taken by Manley, and Shane stands his ground. And the loose pass from Tim Volkel, the newest wing in his first appearance, wearing number 1. Kind of an oversized goaltender's jersey, usually worn by Mark Michella, the backup goalkeeper. Looks a little bit funny. There he is, Volkel. Tries to come in front, and the shot in the midsection. He's drilled.
As you watch Buzz Shane make saves, very, very different style than a field goalkeeper. He just gets fundamentally sound, cuts the angle down, and just uses the body. Puts it in where he thinks the ball is going to be. He doesn't step. He just gets the body where he thinks the ball is shot and lets his body make the save. The stick never moves. Very important. You'll see it a lot as we shoot at the Baltimore Thunder goal.
And there you see what happened the first time these two teams met. It was a high-scoring affair. We've gone over 3 minutes with not an awful lot of offense. In talking about Buzz Shane, he says hockey goalkeeping helped him learn how to cut down the angle and hold his position as a slash is taken by Pat Henley. And he says it also helped him learn to keep his stick in a better position, to keep that stick lower the way a hockey goalkeeper must.
Yes, it's very, very evident just watching his first 4 saves tonight.
And Bilger handles the easy shot to the 5-hole of Glenn Norris.
Really impressed with the way the Baltimore is getting back. One thing that Coach Greavy really likes about his squad is he says they have very, very good overall speed.
Grant, a nice look inside. The shot taken by Dave Huntley, the general manager, getting his first opportunity. And a penalty will be called by Epbll.
A lot of work this week by Dave Huntley and new head coach Steve Way now as Huntley goes on the floor to play with the extra man power team. So this is going to be very interesting to see how we handle this and what the differences are.
And there's the cross check by Darkangelo. That is Darky to Mark Darkangelo, the younger brother at 29 years of age. And Philadelphia on the power play, where they've had some great games and some atrocious games. General Grant at the front, the back pass, and the shot by Huntley. Mixing it up is the general manager.
Dave Huntley said that he's going to look to force the ball inside, which was our comment last week they were not doing. Harris was firing from the outside. Harris is not out there right now. Huntley is in his position.
Grant to Huntley. And the quick shot taken by French. Philadelphia 16 for 30 on the power play thus far at 54%. But they've also given up an awful lot of shorthanded opportunities like this one. 3-on-1. Huntley, the only man back, and the shot is wide by Mark Pierce. And Huntley throwing his weight around. Baltimore last in the league in penalty killing at only 23%. So better than 3 out of 4 times they give up a goal. But not this time, as Darkangelo just a few seconds remaining on his 2-minute minor. Tucker in the left-hand shooter's role. Grant at the top. Shot is taken by French, gets his own rebound right into the numerals of Buzz Shane. And John Grant was in good shooting position as he walked inside the box and still elected to pass. He's a reluctant shooter, has tried only 20-some shots, and yet has an awful lot of points. Only 20 shots in his 3 games.
Unsuccessful on the power play, but getting back very quickly and not allowing the Thunder to fast break downfield as we saw the Washington Wave do last week. So that's an important. They've worked on it. You can see they worked on it.
Now Grant will shoot it at the right angle. Rebound is loose in the crease off French's stick. And Buzz shows some big-time quickness for the big fella. To Darkangelo, waiting for his brother to get out of the penalty box. And he is out right now. Teams are at even strength with 8:50 remaining. Darkangelo getting worked over by Tucker. And answers in kind on Pat Lehman. And a full line unit change for Philadelphia.
Jimmy Darkangelo, number 20. For the Baltimore Thunder. You commented being one of the finest shooters. He's one of the finest players ever to play lacrosse. There's no doubt he's the old man of the game, but can he play?
Shot taken inside by Henley, follows up his own. And Buzz Shane has held the door tightly closed thus far. And on the run comes Mac Ford, All-American out of North Carolina, who has 2 goals in 2 games against Philadelphia. And there's French, who will lead it up himself. French, second in the league in goals scored, tied with his brother. Oh, and a nice glove save off Henley, as that one almost got past the left arm of Buzz Shane. We played almost 7 minutes of scoreless box lacrosse.
And have watched some outstanding goaltending, some outstanding saves, both ends.
Pro Box Lacrosse is played in 4 15-minute quarters. No score.
And just off the bench comes Steve Stenerson, who's a big person in the world of lacrosse, executive director of the Lacrosse Foundation, and one of the better players, one of the larger players, gets the pick, gets it back to him, and will try to work for a shot.
Stenerson with the ball, behind the net.
Shot clock's at 5, so they take it, and that one hits the pipe. Shot taken by Mutscheller, one of the extra people, the only Johns Hopkins product on the Baltimore squad. And the Wings on a fast break up the left wing.
Breaking 2-1-4.
Tucker will wait, and they'll set up. Man-to-man. Good move inside. The shot taken goes well wide by Jeff Harris. Gets the rebound in front and scores! Big net. Paul French scoring his 10th of the season on the rebound in front.
We've seen it so much this year, the rebound and how important it is. See the shot come off the board, picks it up, looks over top, finds him behind his back, and great play by French, scoops it up, puts it up over top of the shoulder.
And really figuring out the angle of the bounce on the pass was the remarkable part of that, as he scoops it up in front and beats him alongside. And French now has 10 goals on the season, second in the league, just passes his brother for uncontested possession of second place. And assist goes to Jeff Harris on the pass from behind the net. So 1-0 at the 6:35 mark and counting right now. John Fay, one of the point players on what's called the blue unit. Scott Growney doing great work from the ground to keep it alive for Philadelphia. And here's Mark DeSico. There's Growney.
Ready that play to John Conley in front of the net, number 10.
Spreading it out a little bit more tonight. We're seeing a little bit of the Washington Wave philosophy of Buddy Beardmore here by the wings. So a sort of a new approach offensively.
John Grant
for
is
the
playing
wings.
low as well. That's Dave Huntley.
This is certainly the old-timers line for the wings. Huntley and Grant out there together.
And they come away empty.
Injuries have certainly taken the toll on the wings with Krumenacker and Way.
Both ways, Dennis and Steve had been hoped to be players. And Bob Powers, who had that shoulder injury against New Jersey. John Krumenacker, one of the premier players in the world of lacrosse with a season-ending knee problem. And here's D'Arcangelo. And Huntley just kind of wraps him up in the slot and drills D'Arcangelo in the open floor. And there's John Conley, who leaves for Grant, and Way will make a line change. So Dave Huntley throwing his weight around a little bit.
And he's got something to throw around, and he's being a little bit of an enforcer. There's somebody picking on one of his players, and he comes over and moves them into the boards very nicely.
In this set, they began with Vogel behind the net. And now Tucker's behind the net. And the screen freed Jeff Harris momentarily. There's a shot well over the top, taken by Manley.
Hit it with his hand off the boards, hit it with his hand. Only the goalie can use his hand off the crease, off the cross.
Quick break by Mark Hahn, tries to beat Bilger low. Hahn, one of the world players of the U.S. team in '84 in the box, has great speed and got away a bouncer. And Bilger gave up only 3 goals in the final 30 minutes against Washington, has gone 11 minutes right now without yielding. And there's Vogel. I love him in that goaltender shirt. Tucker absorbs the hit, stays on his feet. Alone in front was Pat Henley, and if he had looked and saw how much time he had, he could have picked the spot.
So key, Larry, so key. You can come and coach with me anytime. It's the hardest thing to teach young players. You got to look before you shoot.
Here's Hahn, 1-on-2, thinks better of it, waits for a trailer. He's got Dave Contrini behind him. Contrini's drilled by Pat Henley, not known as a really physical player. But he took one at one end and gave it back at the other. Is it instinctive reaction when you get it to just turn around and fire?
Yeah, it is, and also in this game, more so than the field game, you know you're going to get hit. You're not sure where it's coming from, so you want to get rid of it. But it's so important to look before you shoot, see where the goalie is, see what he is leaving. There's so little there to leave.
And the French brothers work the left side. Paul loses, regains, and hits it off the mask of Shane, or off the little chin protector, and a long sidearm pass, perhaps ill-advised, looking for Mac Ford. Ford will come up with it alone in front. That's off the pipe. And Bilger's, goaltender's best friend, I believe, short side, gave a break.
Mac Ford has not played with the Thunder for the last 2 games, so that's a very big, important person for them to have back in the lineup. And an outstanding athlete, outstanding player.
Oh, Oh, a weird hop in front and an open goal. If Hanley could come up with it. What a crazy English spin on that. And I guess you don't get quite as much of that in the outdoor game as you do inside.
Depending if you play on the turf or not. If you play on an asphalt surface, then you're going to get that spin. On the grass, you're not. But you get rocks and stuff on grass.
Here's John Fay running the point on the number 1 line, the blue line, and the shot is taken by Chuck Moore.
Bilger just gets more and more confidence each game, and more confidence tonight each minute. He's just handled everything.
And he's handling it so calmly, not flopping around, arms and legs flying all over the place. That's called learning the transition to the box game, I guess. Dave Huntley to John Grant. That's Grant land right there. Huntley takes the back pass, looks in front, chooses to go cross to Conley.
Interesting now, Huntley and Grant are the feeders. They're controlling the ball, and we're having the other 3 people picking off the ball on the other side and then coming across, looking for Grant or Huntley to feed them. Interesting concept, well done using their skills.
And a shot taken by Conley as the clock expires. Here's Mark Pierce. We'll leave it for Fay, who runs the top. Holds that stick high around the neck. Takes some abuse and coughs it up.
Ball is loose.
And a solid shot by Mark DeSico. Put on Mark Pierce. And a scramble as we reach the final minute of the first period. O'Brien takes the hit from Paul Danko.
We're seeing a couple players for the Wings that we haven't seen have a lot of action. DeSico starting to get some time now because of the injuries, and they're playing well so far.
That's an easy one for Bilger off the stick of Stoller, John Stahl. They call him Stoller, who was the captain of North Carolina's 1984 National Championship squad.
Wings will change on the fly. Tucker takes the ball from...
And the shot clock's at 33. The period clock is at 36. And there's an opportunity in front, and the shot is taken off the left elbow by Jeff Harris. And Harris has played in tough luck the last couple of ball games.
What a great setup then by John Tucker. Drew the defenseman, drew him, knew that man was going to come open underneath. Once again, there's so many things that John Tucker does that aren't instantly recognized, but he makes you successful.
5 seconds remaining as D'Arcangelo looks. 4, 3. Shot taken right before the horn sounds, and Kevin Bilger has shut out the Baltimore Thunder in the first period. One of the few times that'll happen in box lacrosse. 1 quarter complete from the Spectrum. The Philadelphia Wings have the only goal of the game. They lead the Baltimore Thunder 1-0. Second quarter action coming up when we return. Kevin Bilger has been the difference thus far through 1 period. He has been completely unbeatable, especially low. That is only the 3rd time a goaltender has had a scoreless period in the Eagle League, and the lowest scoring period in league history thus far. And Kevin Bilger gave up 8 goals against Baltimore last time around. A different player right now, Tony.
Boy, he certainly is. Just an outstanding. And, you know, at the other end, only 1 goal so far, Buzz Shane. We're seeing just an outstanding goaltending, and it's not that it's bad shot selection. It's really not. Both goalies are just coming up big.
Here's a limping Glenn Norris, who has some knee difficulties, throwing it wildly into the corner. Looked like a set play that failed to develop. And now we've got a bit of a scrum involving Steve Stenerson.
Steve Stenerson, very interesting. Now, O'Brien and Stenerson for the Thunder, both are excellent face-off men. We've seen pretty even face-off on all the teams and all the games we've done so far. I think tonight we're going to see the Thunder control the face-offs. It will surprise me if they don't.
Here's a 3-on-1. See if Hahn can execute. Stops, pops, wide. J.R. Castle did a great job to get back and get in the way and force it to be a low percentage shot for the Penn Charter native, or Winmore native, who went to high school at Penn Charter. And now a 2-on-1. Alone in front is Hahn, beaten by the left foot of Kevin Bilger. Quickness in the lower part of his body for a big fella.
Boy, he sure did step across there and take away that angle and get the ball to hit his thigh. What a great save.
In hockey, they would call that doing the splits. Not quite the split with all that padding, but did get that leg where it had to be to prevent the near post. And the shot clock rolls down to about 20. It's at 20 right now as Darcangelo, Jim Darcangelo, waits. Darcangelo, an All-American 3 times, Player of the Year at Towson State, 74-75, has been on all the world and U.S. teams.
The oldest member of the world team this year, and he's done it all.
Shot clock's at 2-1. That's well wide, and a buzzer sounds, and it will be a shot violation. So Philadelphia, a clear possession. French, length of the floor on the quick change for Paul Danko. Danko shoots wide, ill-advised. And here's John Conley. And a whistle. Too many men. Illegal substitution.
Illegal substitution. Two-minute minor.
Al Blau, a world-class referee. They're now the leading scorers. We update Paul French's 10th goal, the only one thus far tonight. John Tucker, now 3rd on the team. And, of course, Mike French. They told us a little bit before that a bit of a friendly competition between the French brothers for final goal-scoring honors.
And in total points throughout the league, Michael is 4th and Paul is 6th. So very close and very high up in the league standings.
It'll be Pat Lehman serving the illegal substitution minor. And a bit of a diamond shown by Philadelphia and a very patient power play unit. Now the screen. They do more screening off, and a score by Darcangelo. Darcangelo got the screen well before he received the pass, then took it and shot it low.
One of the great shooters, great velocity, picked through the middle. They replace, and then he fires. And honestly, I think Bilger should have had the ball. Should have had the save on that one. It's from outside the perimeter.
Conley may have blocked his vision as we look at it in slow-mo. Conley is in front and moving across. Perhaps it got in the way. But for Darcangelo, the tying goal on the power play. And Segaitis will get the assist.
That's the first time that we've seen the wings come in that setup for the man-down team.
And we are tied at 1 for Darcangelo, goal number 7 on the season. Very quickly on the power play. So they're back at even strength. The general, John Grant, works and works. Doesn't want to go left, but if you give him that much room, he will. Oh, just wide. Call it a crease violation. How about the way they forced him to go left? And a bit of action in front between Eugene Delgado, and I didn't see which Philadelphia wing was involved. Delgado got him pretty good up around the face.
Something's cooking on the floor. Delgado with the ball.
Delgado's got a temper. He's always had a temper.
Here's George McGeady throwing his weight around and a score. Oh, goodness. McGeady throws the check. And Mike Burnett gets the goal.
We're definitely having some... Let's watch it. It was just an error. Bilger never saw it until it was by him. Kevin Bilger never saw it until it was by him.
I think it hit off a player accidentally.
Yes,
as we go to the wide shot. It's already in the net. And they'll probably give it to Delgado. I think it got his left arm. Yeah, Delgado will get the goal unassisted. And he leveled a couple of serious body checks.
On the Thunder team, there's definitely several enforcers. Stennerson is one, Delgado is another, and McGeady is the third. And they're upset. I think they feel like the first quarter they were abused a little bit from the rear. A lot of pushing, a lot of knocking people down. So I think we're going to see a little bit more aggressiveness and roughness from them.
Wide open in front, shot across. Instead of taking the shot was Manley. And again, it looked like he might have had some room near side. Tried to make the perfect play.
Treating with the ball, Baltimore. We'll bring it over to the
and back comes Steve Mutscheller out of Johns Hopkins.
Delgado's always been known for his temper, so we should watch that closely, I think.
Shot taken high by Stennerson, well over the top, and the long rebound comes out. Shot clock does not recycle. We're at 21 now. And we haven't seen an awful lot of Dave Huntley the last few moments, as the wind might be a little bit out of his sails. It's got some good shifts early. That one is in the upper deck. Our first upper Dexter off the hands of D'Arcangelo. Hits the elbow of Bilger and winds up in the upper deck.
And how will that feel about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning as you roll over in bed, Kevin Bilger? Felt good right now. It's always good to have it hit you. You know it's not behind you.
And here's the face-off. O'Brien will take it.
I think with O'Brien and Spencer, they have two of the better face-off men in the league. And so far, they have controlled that tonight.
And for Philadelphia, Dennis Townsend, the veteran, the 43-year-old, takes the draw. And, of course, recovered by Baltimore. That one hits the foot of Vogel. No. Al Blau says it hit Chuck Moore in front. No. Now we're going to turn it back. It did indeed hit a wing.
Scott Boyle corrects Al Blau. Scott Boyle is a University of Pennsylvania graduate, the referee.
One of your recruits?
No. I'm dated, but not quite that far.
In front, tries the backhand roller, is Mark Pierce. And a Philadelphia possession for John Tucker. Tucker's been relatively quiet. Usually the fists are a-pumping. 5 minutes into the second quarter, trying to do it alone. Through two men. Shot is low. Shane gave nothing to shoot at, but some great ball and stick fakes in front. And a double team hit on John Stahl. But it's Baltimore on the attack. John Fay. They won't call their units the 1, 2, and 3 line. They call them the red, blue, and green so as not to give anybody any kind of psychological problem with it. And D'Arcangelo now is out, and he is the point on the green line. And scores. D'Arcangelo picks a corner perfectly, places the shot just inside the far post, and it's a 3-1 Thunder advantage.
We're going to see two different picks here to allow D'Arcangelo to free up. He loses his men, and he's got plenty of time. You can't leave a great shooter like that time.
And Mike French did not kind of rotate over to the weak side to pick him up very quickly, had his back turned.
Right, and Kessler couldn't fit through and fight through the picks. And there he was, all by himself. And you just can't let Jimmy D'Arcangelo have that kind of an angle and that kind of distance.
D'Arcangelo 2 tonight, 8 on the season. Again, one of the league's premier scorers. Faceoff comes to Paul French. Lone goal scorer for Philadelphia tonight. In front to his brother. So much time to score. Mike French. And we're going to have a little bit of post-goal activities between French and Delgatti.
Delgatti gave French a real late hit after the goal was scored. And the rest of the wings are certainly going to take care of their premier goal scorer.
But French will wind up getting at least some time in the box as we look back at the action in front. There's communication between brothers.
Right, great pass. Fakes him 2, 3 times, puts it in the corner. There's Delgatti with a late hit. I think we'll see it real well here. There's the great pass. He really has him. 2, 3 fakes and hits him. And now you see Michael get blasted by Delgatti 22. He has a word with him. Delgatti has a word back.
Number 17, Mike French.
And a bit of a retaliation.
Number 14, Paul French.
So Mike French from Paul French to cut it to 3-2. And we've got to get the official on the penalties as Delgatti and French are in the box.
We haven't focused in a lot on face-offs, but as you do this when Steve Sanderson stepping in the box to face-off now for the Baltimore Thunder, you're going to see technique. He's going to step with his right foot, bring it up, and then you try to take the top of your stick and put it over top of the ball, and then you can place the ball wherever you want to on the floor to one of your teammates or out to the side so that you can pick it up. His strength, his size, and his technique are the 3 keys that makes him probably one of the best face-off men to ever face off in the game of lacrosse.
And he just scoops it up, does not recover, but it is he that initiated the action. Big hit by Mark Lasico. And Mitcheller. Of course, Stennerson won a face-off in overtime of a 1919 contest and led to the game-winning goal for Baltimore in their only victory, which came against Philadelphia. So it was a Stennerson face-off which led directly to the goal. Bit of a scrum in front. Shot is taken and goes into section U. And correct me if I'm wrong, they're playing even strength, as both French and Delgado got 5-minute majors for their scrum. And it will not show up on the floor, only in the scorebook. And there's D'Arcangelo. A lot of strength in the lower body for D'Arcangelo. Not a big guy. There's the big guy. And Stennerson is double teamed and drilled. Tucker throwing his weight around. And the shot clock violation sounds. And now we've got some stick swinging. Stennerson took a wicked slash. And it looks like Stennerson might also wind up in the box.
You know, Larry, I think so far this year that game after game, watching the replay now, just a lot of work on the boards here, and a lot of driving people from behind into the boards. Then Stennerson gets his stick and the fist up into the face, and they start. I think all along this year we have seen the Wings be the most aggressive team on the floor, and I think that was definitely true in the first quarter tonight. Something has really got the Thunder alive, and they've said, we've had enough of this, we're going to come back at you. And what we're watching right now is definitely the two most aggressive teams we've seen all year go head-to-head.
And that'll be Dennis Townsend in the box. And Stennerson is not in the box. So it will be a power play following the slashing minor to Townsend. Baltimore, the least penalized team by far. Nobody on their squad with more than 5 minutes before tonight. That's changed by now. And Baltimore back on the man advantage.
And we're seeing a diamond instead of a box.
Right.
We're seeing one up, two, and then one low. This is a new dimension here.
Shot off the left pipe. Hahn thought it was in, one of the light. Baltimore about 1 for 2 on the power play, 48%, and now a score by Hahn from the left crease. Gets the rebound, goes by pole, easy does it for Mark Hahn.
There's the replay. Shot wide, off the board, picked up by Hahn. No one's there to cover him. Puts it in by past the foot of Bilger. One of the problems of the diamond is you only have one person down low, has to cover each pipe, and couldn't get over to Hahn on the rebound. He puts it in.
Hahn is fourth. He has taken the most shots of any Baltimore player, as Baltimore now 2 for 2 on the power play tonight. He took 11 shots versus Philadelphia the last time around, and now has 7 points overall. It is 4-2 Thunder. And really, Philadelphia has had very few scoring opportunities in the second period. Hanley looks to center. Taken away by Baltimore. And a swift move to O'Brien. Coming down the right wing. Has a trailer. Oh, and the pass is just beyond Chuck Moore, who had an uncontested left wing drive. Here he comes again. Switches hands. Goes low. And takes the hit. And Philadelphia breaks 2 on 3. Can't do much with it. Hanley getting so much more floor time right now with all the injuries. Really testing the coaching skill of Way, and Huntley. And we've not seen Huntley in period number 2, which has passed its halfway point.
When you get caught like that, he had a 1-on-3 on it. It was the wrong way. He against 3 Thunder. I think you got to take the shot from a little further out and hope you get a rebound or put it by. You're not going to get in close.
Great moves in front by Mike Burnett.
And we got a slash on top of the head, so that'll be a 2-minute minor.
And really nothing else I think that Castle could do, as he was undressed by Burnett, who changed hands very efficiently and forced the penalty. Almost scored, went off the near pipe. But yet another power play opportunity for the Baltimore Thunder. That is indeed J.R. Castle, who is second on the team now in penalty minutes with 9 total. And it will be a slashing.
Burnett with his great quickness leaves Castle.
And we'll see some of the dipsy-do he did in front as he switches hands very efficiently.
Great step. Then he comes back, almost a backhander. Doesn't go to the left hand, but shoots a backhander from down, almost a reverse. That's a common in the girls' game.
John Tucker throws some... But he was called for the penalty, though. The penalty came at the other end for climbing the back, cross-checking on the rear of D'Arcangelo. They call him Dexter Manley, and he ran it chain like a quarterback sack. And now, very difficult circumstances indeed for Philadelphia.
At 6:22.
5 against 3. Very, very difficult to defend against. They're going to try to get it in. Definitely the philosophy here is to try to score from the inside, and they take a very questionable shot.
Oh, and the rebound almost squeegeed home. D'Arcangelo's alone, has a man, and he scores. The bounce shot by the right knee for D'Arcangelo. And Jimmy Dark almost turns the lights out on Philadelphia's hopes with a power play goal. And that'll be the first penalty will be done.
We got checked out of the defensive player's stick, came behind, picked up, put in front of D'Arcangelo, and he finds off the left or right knee side of Bilger, a big bounce shot.
And he had Hahn wide open on the right side if he had to go that way. Instead elected to shoot. D'Arcangelo now the 9th of the season, the hat trick tonight, now with 12 points overall, and really teaching a lesson in power play goals, power play. Now what will that wipe off? That will wipe off the Manley penalty, the last penalty that was called. By the way, Baltimore now with 5 power play goals, none for Philadelphia.
And there's the Thunder with another face-off.
Yet another face-off effectively taken. Who took it? Delegati?
No, that was O'Brien.
O'Brien. Still Huntley in the penalty box, and a 4-goal lead, and all the time in the world on the shot clock. Fay will survey the floor.
And we see the Wings now going back to a box defense instead of that diamond.
No pressure on Baltimore to do much but run clock, and a goal! Just that quickly from Mike Burnett. Burnett, who played his best lacrosse in Australia the last couple of years, turns, fires, and scores, and it's 11-6 Thunder.
Bilger does not get over to the pipe fast enough to cover the shot, and there it goes on his inside of his hip. He's got to get to that pipe. He's got to get his body against that pipe and make the man shoot to the outside, and then it's going to be a bad angle. He doesn't get there in time, and score against him. Excellent placement by Michael Burnett.
Burnett out of North Carolina University, an All-American while there. Toured across Australia, had some fun over there, we're told. And now has given the Thunder a 5-goal lead. And here comes Frankie Kelly out of Cornell.
And also Cornell, yes, and Cornell's #1 face-off man for 4 years.
And here's J.R. Castle out of the penalty box, onto the pitch. Tries to do it alone, and that was unnecessary as the Wings turning individual. Here's Delegati. Doesn't have the speed, but very cagey. Good look, and that stopped off back forward. Rebound score by Frankie Kelly. And suddenly, it's a rout with 7:16 remaining. The Thunder has scored 3 goals in 90 seconds to put a lot of distance between themselves and the Philadelphia Wings.
And I have to once again emphasize, as we look at the replay, that the penalties just cost you so much. Nice save off his foot, picked up through the middle by Frank Kelly, the garbage man, and he's got him beat to the offside.
Kelly just signed this week to join the Baltimore Thunder. In his first game, really it took him about 3 quarters to get acclimated, and has been a major factor in the final stanza. Now scores his first goal.
The Eagle League would like to thank the outstanding staff of the Philadelphia Spectre for their support.
And there's the first time we've seen John Connolly face off, and his quickness to the ball beats Stenerson, who got the ball out, but Connolly beats him to the ball. If they're going to do it, they got to get it together now. It's not out of the question. We've emphasized over the 3 weeks. Lacrosse is a game that you can come back quickly in.
Amazing to watch Conley go head-to-head with Stenerson. That's a tough matchup for the little guy Conley at 5'6". Gives up 10 inches and about 80 pounds. Dave Huntley's going to get drilled. Any chance you can drill a general manager, take it. Oh, and Stenerson whacks him around the face. Shot high over the top by Conley. And a shot clock violation against Philadelphia.
I think we got a penalty. They're up near the head. He pushed Huntley, and Huntley got to learn to control himself a little bit better because he came back at him, but Al Blau doesn't call that. For the first time in quite a while, we're going to see the Wings man up.
And they're missing Krummenacher, of course, key on the power play early on. So they'll go with French, Grant, Huntley, and Pat Hanley. And of course, this means that Jeff Harris, who plays that shooter's role, has been replaced by Dave Huntley.
Time 8 minutes, 21 seconds.
General Grant, the back pass. The shot is wide, and Grant has the rebound.
4-minute power play now. The Wings.
A double binder given
Killers from Baltimore.
to Baltimore,
The
to Stenderson. So a shot for the Wings into the midsection of Shane off Huntley. Huntley wants that first goal badly. French has to do some chasing on Pierce, who will go in alone. And the bounce shot handled in the waffle board of Bilger. Cross from Hanley to French, who's been quiet, scored the first goal tonight.
Yeah, I think that we see the Thunder trying to take away the French connection on the power play. They're very willing to let the ball go over to the Huntley side. Now Tucker's in there. They're willing to let Grant take the shot. They want to keep it away from Paul and Michael. We saw the same thing last week by the Washington Wave. Very effective. Tonight, in this period, very effective.
And with that 6-goal lead, they just need to rag clock. And here's D'Arcangelo in a dangerous spot. Spins, switches, and shoots low. Easily handled. And control now for French. Takes the hit from John Stahl. Has Tucker trailing. Goes to him. And Tucker will wait. Shot well wide by Pat Hanley. And Philadelphia really shorthanded, a step slow, especially on the man advantage. And the loose ball taken by French.
On Baltimore, they'll attempt to eat up as much of the clock as they can again.
D'Arcangelo goes away from Tucker, and that's a wise move. In front of a Thunder dunk, if you will, by Mac Ford.
And we find John Grant kind of going to sleep here
on the defensive side. And here comes the Thunder dunk.
This could really be the one that breaks the back. They find John Grant sleeping. They cut in front, puts it away.
Looks like Al Blau might be calling this one off. No, it's up on the board at 13-6, although Al Blau was waving his arms while we showed you the replay, was waving. And we're back live with John Tucker scoring just that quickly. Couldn't even explain what happened before Tucker walked in and scored. That was a power play goal, and we'll catch up on what happened. D'Arcangelo came on the floor illegally before Steve Mutscheller got away from it, so that was a penalty, no goal, and here Tucker walks in and scores. So instead of it being 13-6, it's 12-7, and the power play unit finally comes together for Philadelphia. Did you get all that?
Yeah, we sure did. And not only that, but that's a 2-goal swing. Instead of the Thunder getting a goal and going up 13-6, we get the Wings scoring and go up 12-7. And the crowd is into this game. They're trying to yell to the refs what's wrong out here.
Well, there's a problem out there, basically because they had 2 men in the penalty box, and the goal scored, and both of them came out, and that was wrong. Somebody should still be in. And Baltimore calls a timeout of their own as they try to clarify, and we'll stay here. And basically what had happened was D'Arcangelo took the pass by the bench and led to the goal, which was the last thing we showed you before the timeout, which would have made it 13-6. He came on the floor before Steve Mutscheller got off. So Mutscheller got called for illegal substitution, if you will. That wiped out the goal and put Mutscheller into the penalty box. Tucker scores. Now 2 men were in the penalty box and both came out. So the argument is which penalty should continue and which one should have been expired, but it should still be power play Philadelphia.
And it looks like it is. They have a man back in the penalty box now. It's 12-7. We want to remind you that back down in in Baltimore, when these two teams met the first time, Baltimore had a 5-goal lead, and the Wings came back to tie it and force it into overtime, even though they lost. So certainly the Baltimore Thunder has a reputation of letting things slip away in the fourth quarter. And it's very important. The Wings now, last week's comeback, can they do it again? It's going to get exciting.
Chris O'Brien wins the faceoff but can't come up with it. So it's Steve Stenerson's penalty, which expired by the goal, was wiped out, if you will. And they have 2 minutes on the advantage for Matt Schiller. But they need more than just a power play goal. They need them in a bunch. Grant, Tucker, Huntley, and the French boys. There's Huntley to Grant. Huntley in front. Good reversal. Shot. And it took a little bit too long for French to get rid of it. And a loose ball behind, taken by John Fay. He's drilled by French, but clears. Here's a 2-on-1 with the worst defender back in Grant. Shot, score. Oh, does that one hurt the cause? Chris O'Brien, a great decoy to Mark Pierce, and drills it by Bilger for a 13-7 Thunder advantage.
Yeah, he catches Bilger looking away. And you certainly can see with that shot right there, Kevin Bilger's not a happy man right now. He comes down the far side, continually using the other player, and puts it high. Once again, Bilger commits to his knees before the shot goes off. He's beaten high, and that's been Bilger's problem this evening. Going down to the knees. Take a lesson from Buzz Shane at the other. Hold your ground, stand high, make them beat you low.
So it's 13-7. Of course, O'Brien had 7 points coming in on the season. 6 of them scored against Philadelphia the last time around. 5 goals against Philadelphia of his 6 on the season, and gets a big one there. Looks like the Wings are going to pull Bilger right now. Yes, they will. With 3-3-3 and counting, Bilger is off. So it's 6-on-4 as the Wings trail by 6. Huntley scores.
That time,
that's one.
Grant sets him up. He's got an excellent angle. He can go anywhere. And once again, the bounce shot beats Buzz Shane.
And Huntley not in a position to really overreact because he's down 5. But you know he's happy to get that first one. There's the drill.
Real nice pass by John Grant. Draws that defender over. And Huntley winds up, finds the good placement on a nice bounce shot to the side of Buzz Shane. So at one end, we find the goalie for the Wings being beaten by high shots because he's committing low. And at the other end, the way to beat Buzz Shane is to shoot low because he protects high so well.
And that's the first goal by a general manager in league history. It's 13-8. Of course, that also wipes out the rest of the penalty to Steve Mutschiller. So with 3:15 remaining, it's 13-8. The Thunder does not need any more goals. They just need to rag. Tucker, line pass over the shoulder, taken by D'Arcangelo. And strange how their better offensive players are also on the floor as their better, I guess, overall players.
Yes. John Tucker has got to be one tired little boy tonight. He just gives you 150% all the time, and he's still out there pushing. But certainly we have seen that the injuries have definitely hurt the Wings over the course of this week.
Bit of a four corners offense, if you will, as Norris and Lehman do a waltz. D'Arcangelo always keeping an eye, the pituitary gland, watching John Tucker. Tucker finally gets a crack at him with 6 on the shot clock. Hahn lets it go wide. And that'll be a shot clock violation, but they did their job. They used 45 plus. Here's a long lead pass for French, and Shane just stands still and beats him with the left foot. How about Buzz Shane? Only 8 goals, and the clock continues to roll. Now it stops at 2:10. And the Wings might have gotten away with an illegal substitution as French popped off the left side of the bench before anybody got near the right side. But Buzz Shane beat him on the fly. And here it comes.
He came out of the penalty box, no doubt about that, or out of the substitution box. The question is, does he come out before his man gets to the other end, or does he come out after he's in? And according to Epbll, I believe he said he came out early.
How about Buzz Shane just standing still, holding his ground, and making you do something sensational, because he's not going to give you a gimme.
That's exactly right. And I think that the Wings have found or been more effective tonight getting the ball off a little bit sooner and not trying to carry in where they're right up top on him one-on-one, especially with a man coming defensively to give help out to Buzz Shane, and Buzz Shane just stands tall and plays the percentages.
And Coach Rosen catches the illegal substitution. It's pretty easy from up here, from high above. And there's the announcement. It'll be served by Mark DeSico. And that'll about wipe out any hopes Philadelphia had of a miracle comeback. So should this one hold, it'll be a tie for second place between Philadelphia and Baltimore, both at 2 and 3.
And they're certainly going to kill it. They're going to sit on it. They got 26 seconds in the shot clock, and they're going to use, I would think, as much as they can. That time, Bilger gets to the corner and makes the save.
He moved his goal substantially as well, and now some frustration. A shot hits Lehman on the calf, and Lehman is down in a heap, and there is no protection below the waist. A lot of the rules in the league are to help the players are getting hit low, and looked like that might have got him, I thought, in the left leg. Well, we'll take a look at it, as our director, Bob Ayers, will let me know if I'm right, wrong, or indifferent here.
Here's the crank.
Yeah, it looked like it got him in the left leg.
Yep,
the
it was
left
the
ankle.
calf. It sure looks like the spot, and there is nothing, I don't think, that hurts more than that.
And Lehman has been a major contributor throughout. An assistant coach down at Loyola, second on the team in shots attempted, has had a lot of playing time. Only New Jersey, by the way, has won on the road up to now. They won 2 road games. They lost here in Philadelphia, of course. So a win by Baltimore tonight would be the first road victory for that franchise, and only the 3rd in the games played in the league thus far. Of course,
if anybody's ever been out there and you played racquetball or squash, you know what it's like to get hit by that kind of ball in your leg or your backside. You can imagine, as the advertisement and commercial goes, that hard rubber spear
hurling at your face. You know, we talked before that you see sticks swinging and punches thrown, and everybody laughs, and it's not really a major problem for anybody. And then a shot drills you in the ankle, and you are down like a shot. So as we educate ourselves and the audience to the indoor game, watch out for the spear. It may cause much more damage than a stick hitting a pad.
And you pray to God that if it's going to hit any part of your body, that it gets the fleshy part and not a bone, because it can snap him.
And Lehman will walk off on his own. He's a tough guy.
You can figure the velocity of that ball that was just shot to be somewhere between 80 and 85 miles an hour.
And he was about 15 feet away from him. We've got 1:35 remaining as I start to look at the complicated tie-breaking procedure to determine the second place winner. Washington is still 1 and 3. Philadelphia will drop to 2 and 3. Baltimore will move up to 2 and 3.
This is nice, effective work. You have to admire the philosophy here of the Thunder. They move the ball around and then try to get the...
Oh, that was unnecessary. That's just frustration by Dennis Townsend. There's a 43-year-old man out there. And Al Plow, again the referee on my star of the game list, because that could have been ugly. That was unnecessary with 1:01 remaining. Townsend, a fiery competitor. We're told by Dave Huntley he was brought on board to help in the physical aspect, as he's not afraid to mix it up a little bit. And that time Mark Hahn wanted no parts of him, although Hahn will wind up in the penalty box as well.
There was certainly something that instigated that before Dennis swung the stick. There's the shot come off. Bilger with a save. Oh, he swung his stick first.
Swing and a miss. Rebound. And Dennis did not miss. He connected. But again, that's as vicious a stick swing as we've seen in 3 games, and Mark Hahn walks away from it. Pat Lehman, who got hit with a ball, is laying down thinking, can I walk again?
Great deal of credit to the helmet. And certainly the value of it and how well they're made.
And the roughing minors at 13:59. Tie-breaking procedure. Oh, and there's a shot by French.
It's almost like there's a magnet on Shane's chest, and that's the place to hit him.
Here's the breakaway. John Fay all alone, dipsy-doos, and he's beaten by Bilger. And we'll tell you the tie-breaking procedure a little bit later on. Great work by Fay, but Bilger comes up with it. Has French, and really with a goalie stick, not a lot of placement on that pass. He made a couple of nice touch passes earlier tonight.
Yeah, he tried to throw that with some velocity.
Score! And a drill by Tucker, and Fay's going to lay down as John Fay throws it by Bilger as he gets his stick up to celebrate. John Tucker says, don't celebrate in my slot. and it's a 14-8 Thunder advantage. And here's the replay.
Excellent shot. Gets Bilger down low. Here we see it again from the angle of the shooter. Takes him high, gets him down low, goes between his legs.
14-36.
And
Tucker lays him out at the end of it. Maybe a little bit late.
Bay, one of the leading assisters, if you will, in the league. Had a lot of points in the last confrontation between these two teams, made his presence felt tonight. That tie-breaking procedure, if we can for you, won and lost record head-to-head. Then they get involved with goal differential head-to-head, and eventually it's determined who will get the home floor. But if Philadelphia loses this week at Washington, they will finish last. That much we can tell you right now. French, oh, he's beaten by Shane, who shows some quickness in the final 15 seconds. Here's Paul, takes a shot high, and another backhand shot by Mike, and that will do it. The game is over, and frustration rules Philadelphia as the Wings are drilled by the Baltimore Thunder 14-8.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Eagle League, the Philadelphia Wings, the Philadelphia Spectrum. Thank you for...
We'll come back, wrap it up, go over the scoring summary. Tony and I will have a final comment for you. That and more. Stay with us. Final score, as you see it, bad news for the Wings.